Yes, the firm. How are we? Now we're 2 days out from probably the best fight card I've ever watched. I was a little bit delirious in the last video. That's because it was 7 AM and I'd been up a ridiculous amount of time with no sleep. Now, it's 6:30 this time, but I'm just fresh off a 12-hour night shift. The joys. The joys. Please subscribe so I don't have to do that anymore. That would be lovely. But with there being so much, I just thought, quick video, what we learned, a review of just the nut stuff that we saw, and at the same time, I'll have a few scraps on UFC 6 to keep you entertained and to keep me entertained. A little bit of multitasking's never hurt anybody. So yeah, all in all, the main takeaway from Sunday, feels weird saying Sunday, is when the UFC do actually try to put on a quality event, they do it better than anybody. There ain't a single sport league, sport promotion, there ain't anybody that can do it to the level that they can when they are 100% in. This is what they want to do. They want to do it to the fullest degree. Ain't nobody doing it better than them. Ain't nobody. I mean, look at some of the pictures, look at some of the scenes, the walkouts, the live band, everything was brilliant. There's only, I would say it's a 10 out of 10 event. 10 out of 10. That doesn't mean you can't have some issues with it. Now, as far as it goes, perfect. The only thing I could say about the production, or the only negative I'd say with the card in itself, is it was a 7-hour fight card that lasted way too long. It was 5 hours. I'm not American, so I'm not here for the AI slop in between, the AI. Apologies, you can hear the clicky clacky of the controller. I will sort it out. Freedom 250 type propaganda. I understood that there was going to be bits of it. Don't get me wrong, you're not going to escape that. It's a fight at the White House. It's a celebration of American independence. You're going to have a fair bit of American independence themed stuff. But I've seen Americans themselves saying the AI slop, come on. It was too frequent, there was too much of it. And yeah, it just weren't great. I mean, the fight promos before were brilliant. We rarely see them do them type of fight promos before a fight, and I thought they were sick. I mean, the Derek Lewis one, Derek Lewis Josh Hokit one, sticks in my mind as like a brilliant example of it done right. That was brilliant, but it was like it was the Freedom 250 AI just slop. Like, it was low effort. That's the only negative with the entirety of the production, because like I say, it was amazing. The scenes, I've never seen anything like it. Brilliant. Brilliant. And when we get on to the scraps themselves and the scrappers, Justin Gaethje is undoubtedly the toughest fighter I have ever seen in my life in any sport, anything. We knew he was tough. We knew he was tough. We've seen him be knocked out though, multiple times. Is it multiple times though? Or is it just the once? We definitely saw him get knocked out by Holloway. I thought, ooh, I've just been knocked out. I'm trying to multitask, I'll get better at this multitasking stuff. But we saw what happened in the Holloway fight. We thought he was on the downcline. We thought he was on a downwards trajectory. He goes in there with Paddy. I pick Paddy, probably biased. Is what it is. And he smokes Paddy. We see him go in there with Ilya. After seeing Ilya starch Holloway. And Holloway starch Gaethje. Nobody gave him a chance. Nobody, if you say you gave him a chance, chances are you're lying. Nobody gave him a chance. And he didn't just win, he did it in just the most stupid fashion ever. But the takeaway from that, he is one of the most unlikely champions of all time. He did it in the most unlikely arena of all time, against the most unlikely competitor that he could have beat. Like, it was unlikely that he became a champ, it was unlikely that he fought at the White House, and it was unlikely that he beat Ilya, and he did all of that in one night, in one foul swoop. It's just one of the biggest victories I've ever seen from anybody. Fair play, Justin Gaethje. incredible, just incredible. It's one of the best stories, one of the best wins, everything about it. Perfect. Now Cyril gone.
You dirty little cheat. I said I didn't know if they were back of the head last video. I have seen it since. They were back of the head. You are a dirty French scumbag, and I hope nothing but the worst on you in your MMA profession.
No, yeah, that's the moral of the story with the Cyril gone Alex Pereira fight. Initial impressions, I thought Cyril looked lightning. I mean, I picked Cyril to win the fight. I thought he'd win it by decision, because I thought it would just be a kickboxing fight. Rico Verhoeven picked him. So I respect Rico, but seeing the speed difference in front of you felt just different. It just did not feel that it was like night and day. And credit to Cyril Gane, before
the illegal back in the head shots that were definitely back in the head,
he was working Alex, and his game plan was going perfect, and there's no telling that he probably would have won the fight. He probably would have. You can't count Alex out. Who knows what would have happened if there was no back at the head strikes and Alex could recover. Who knows what would have happened, right? But chances are Cyril was on his way to a win either way. But then he's got a track record, boys. JDS. Now, at the time, everyone probably thought he was just salty, on the downwards trajectory himself, and he just could not accept the fact he lost. Looking back on it, he did get it in the back of the head about 4 times. Four times is an understatement. 14 times. So he's done it there. We all know about the Tom Aspinall eye poke. That doesn't need to be going over anymore. But one thing that I will mention is that before the fight, Andy Aspinall said to the referee, watch this guy for the back of the head. He's known for it. He's got history for the back of the head. He does it all the time. Watch that. He's got history. Now we go in this fight of Alex Pereira. He stuns him. He knocks him down. And then, does anyone remember the Charles Oliveira-Michael Chandler fight? Or was it Michael Chandler? I remember a similar scenario where there was a lot of shots to the back of the head and a lot of shots to the side of the head. So there was kind of blurred lines on like, did he hit him in the side of the head? Did he hit him in the back of the head? Because in the reality, he did both at like 2 separate times. Get wheel kick to screw up. Oh, shooting with oil metal is disgusting. But when it seems like a lot of the time, the way to get away with hitting the fighter in the back of the head is to hit him in the side of the head a few times as well, so you blur the lines. And that's what Cyril Gane seems to have mastered. Honestly, rattling, feel for Alex Pereira. Cyril was doing brilliant anyway. But the takeaway from that fight is Cyril Gane is a dirty, dirty, dirty Frenchman cheat, and I'm fed up of it. We can't keep rewarding it. He's getting reward. He's had 4 times. This is his 4th shot at a bout. Obviously, he'd never won one before this. This is the first one he's won. And I've been sparked out again. Listen, I'm struggling at this multitasking stuff. I don't need to keep saying it, but at least you probably enjoy him watching me get sparked out. But stop rewarding cheaters. Stop it. Especially him, who's got prior history and he can't stop doing it. Now let's get on to the main event. The main event. Josh Hokit, Derek Lewis. Now that's one of the funniest Scooby-Doo fights I've ever seen him in live. Josh Hokit, it's impossible to beat Derek Lewis and look good doing it, because you have to respect that fight power. Even if he does just look like a lazy bastard, just moping around, and you've got to respect his power. Josh Hokit fought well. It's lightning fast hands. Actually used a bit of his wrestling. And yeah, we're not here to talk about the fight though, because what we're actually here to talk about is the gimmick. The gimmick, right? You love it, you hate it. But that's the point. You either love it or you hate it, which means you pay attention to it. And hate is a lot easier to turn to love than indifference is to turn to love. And that is the entire point. If you can get people watching you, if you can get reactions, positive or negative, eventually a lot of them people will carry on hating you, and a lot of them people will learn to love you. After he fought Curtis Blades, everybody goes, I used to hate this guy, but he actually walks the walk and talks the talk. Now he's doubling down on the gimmick. The Incredible Hulk and the awkward version, right? I love it because I see it for what it is. I also think it's corny, but just because I think it's corny doesn't anger me like it does seem to anger a lot of people. It's corny, but the entire point is hate is a lot easier to turn to love than indifference is to turn to love. Next point. 7 fight cards need to be a more regular feature on the UFC. I'm grappling, I'm Curtis Blades, don't blame me. It needs to happen more often. Quality over quantity. How many times have you heard that in your life? And I feel like last Monday, Sunday, whatever day you want to describe it as, was the perfect example. I was a bit weirded out going into it, like, what, only 7 fights on a card? This is going to be really quick. Obviously it wasn't really quick because of all the
AI slop that nobody asked for.
But I liked it. I think this is something that the UFC should adopt. I really think they should cut half the roster. And I know you're going to be like, whoa, cut half the roster. There are 500 fighters fighting in the UFC. You could name 200 of them. If you're a hardcore like I am, or like an Ariel Helwani or whatever, or an MMA guru, you ain't naming more than 200 UFC. There is about 500 fighters on the roster. It's too much. I know that they want to monopolise the sport, whether they like to say it or not, and they want to have all the talent in their organisation so nobody else can have them. That's the reality of it, and that's why we get so many dross fight nights and cards that nobody cares about, because the UFC needs to give these guys a platform to showcase the skills, and they've got too many fighters. Cut them. Cut half the lot, right? This 7 fight card was one of the best cards I've ever seen because there wasn't a single fight where I did not care. I loved every fight. Every fight was entertaining. Every fight had meaning. I've died again. Brilliant. That's 0-3. I am cooking. I want to see more quality over quantity cards. Do you know how hard it is to go from a White House card with knockout after knockout, insane fight after insane fight, to then go to a Kiri Horiguchi versus Manal Kate main event? By the way, sick fight. Not arguing that it isn't a sick fight. That's going to be a sick fight. But when you see that as a main event, you know what the rest of the card looks like. You just know it's full of bloody dross. Just absolute Lauren Murphy, Vina Jandiroba. You get the point. Matt Ravola. You know it's for these, man. You know it is. Scrap that. Scrap these constant fight nights that nobody actually asks for, and just give us more quality. That's all we want. It's a better product for it. You'll get more eyeballs for it. You'll get more people sticking around after watching it because they're like, oh my god, I actually enjoyed myself. I will tune in next week. Rather than slop. Seems like there's a big theme of slop at the minute, but there's nobody watching this right now that can say half the fight nights aren't slop. And you can say, you're not a real MMA fan, dude. Every fight's entertaining. Shut up. You're lying. Shut up. Now let's get to a sad point. Derek Lewis and Michael Chandler. 2 fighters that going into this fight, you probably knew what was going to happen. They were both going to get finished. And they both got finished, and neither of them looks good doing it. You know what? They both just looked like 40-year-old men. I know that's harsh, but it's just the fact of the matter. They both just looked just nowhere near what we come to expect of them. It was a hard watch, especially Michael Chandler. I feel so bad for him. He was sold a dream. Fighting this bloke I'm fighting right now. He was sold the biggest payday in his life. He got nothing, and instead what did he get? He got 3 years of his career taken away that he'll never get back. And he got rewarded with a Paddy Pimblett fight, which you could say he could have won it, but I think at that point he was already on the decline because he had lost 2 years. Ring rust is real. I didn't like that fight for him going into it. I actually picked Paddy Pimblett by knockout, which he got a knockout. So yeah, it's just sad. I mean, the last person to know that they're done is the fighter. I think everybody's kind of realised this now about them. I just hope they've got good people around them that'll tell them the facts of the matter and say, Luke, you are great. You're just not the man that you used to be. And that's fine. That's fine. I heard Anthony Smith break it down perfectly and say very similar things to what I'm saying right now. And it's fine to not be the guy that you once were. That's completely fine. And Derek Lewis, I think we have seen Chandler's last fight. I think we'll see Derek Lewis a lot more. He's just here for the bag, bro. He doesn't care if he wins or loses. He's got his accolades. He just wants that money at this point. So we'll probably see him either starch out some absolute scrubs or just keep getting starched out by people that are just better than him. And yeah, it's just going to be sad. But at least there is a place for him. You know, he can just fight the lower end. Yeah, we got to win, finally. He can just fight the lower end of the heavyweight division, be a little bit of a gatekeeper, but I don't know. I've got no interest in seeing either of them fight in the UFC anymore against top-level competition. They're too far gone. They're just too far gone. But all in all, that is kind of like the summary of that. MMA is just the best sport in the world, man. The two biggest stars in the sport going into that card are Ilia Topuria and Alex Pereira. And they both come out with a loss on the record by knockout. Where else are you getting that? You just ain't getting that anywhere else. For one, the two biggest stars in the sport fighting on the same card. But in a sport where you can lose to anybody, you can lose to a Justin Gaethje who's just been knocked out a fight or two ago against somebody that you've just knocked out in a round or two, a fight or two ago. You can lose to Cyril.
Cheating bastard.
It's just the best, man. Nothing will top it. And that is just the summary of the card for you. And I've got a few side points. I think the Tyson Fury walkout was just weird. I felt for John Anik watching it because he came out saying he's got an announcement to make and then didn't make an announcement, and John Anik's pushing him like, come on, you got an announcement to make. And at the last point, the last question John Anik asked was literally just like, okay, so have you not got anything to announce to us? He was put in an awkward position now. Like, nobody had told him what was going on, and he was just sat there with this 6'9" giant, just like expecting. I don't know. It was weird. That was weird. It was more just a Dana saying to Eddie, like, look what I've done, mate. I told you I was going to be the promoter of Thurs-Sun versus Joshua, which, by the way, he will not be the promoter, but they will be involved because that fight will happen on Netflix, and that fight doesn't happen on Netflix without Turki Al-Sheikh, who is Dana White's business partner. The one person I think that will have the biggest problem with Thurs-Sun doing that is Frank Warren. I can only imagine how he feels about it. You haven't kicked Eddie in the teeth, you've kicked Frank Warren in the teeth. You've not done what you've accomplished, but you have accomplished something. You've stirred the pot up a little bit more. And I think that Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury fight will have about 4 or 5 different promoters. Zuffa will be one of them. Matchroom will be one of them. Queensberry will be one of them. There'll be so many promoters on that fight. It's unreal. And why not? It's going to be a big cash grab for everybody. And one other side point I've got is Sean Strickland. What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, he was told beforehand he weren't allowed to go to the event, which I don't agree with. He's America's only champ. Whether you agree with what he says or not, Josh Hokett's fighting on the fight card, so you can't really ban Sean Strickland for what he says when you've got Josh Hokett in the octagon going,
Michelle Obama is a man.
It's a little bit counterintuitive, that. So, yeah, I do agree he should have been able to go there, or at least go to the Ellipse, like Juliana Pena I saw was at the Ellipse. I saw Natalia Silva was at the Ellipse. There was plenty of people at the Ellipse watching the fight card from across the pond or whatever, not far away. But he was trying everything to get arrested. He's trying to force his way into the White House. Let's just deep this for a minute. You have been told, whether you think it's the right idea or not, right decision or not, that you're not allowed to go to a fight card at the White House. So you think, I know what I'll do. I'll try and force my way into the White House while I'm not even wearing shoes or like anything. What was the plan? The plan was to get arrested. I'm sure at this point he was just trying his hardest to just get arrested and cause a scene and just... Yeah, it was weird. Sean Strickland, what are you doing? That's it. But all in all, MMA is the best fight card in the world. That's the best fight card. Sorry, man, I'm tired. MMA is the best sport in the world. That's the best fight card I've ever watched, and I want more quality over quantity cards. They don't all have to be the White House to be that exciting. The reason that was so exciting was the fights. 7 quality fights, that's all we need. We don't need this much slot because you're trying to monopolise the sport. We see you, bro. You're trying to get every single fighter so nobody else can have them and all the premier fighters fight in the UFC. Yeah, that can still be true without having 500 fighters and forcing these terrible fight nights just so you can get all these people on your roster fighting. Cut off of them and be on with your day and just make quality over quantity. But they ain't going to do that because they've got like a $1 billion or $7 billion Paramount deal. So they need to get an event out every week, which you can still do with quality fights. You know how I know? Because they used to do it. But yeah, great card, great night, great takeaways. Everyone's happy. Boom.